You know what I liked about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama being in the public eye is the idea that, black couples. I don't even like the word black, first of all. Let me just start with the politics. I don't like the black identification of Kokoya people. I say we are Kokoya people. I don't agree that we are black people because black is the color. If you take a black pen, a black paper, your black shoes, your black t-shirt, you don't look like that, right? We are not black people. We are Kokoya people. We are made from the soil. The soil is not black. The soil is brown. It's Kokoya, could be light, brown, all these colors, right? Yes, there are dark looking people as well. But we should not accept the definition of being labeled as black people because we're not. Why should their Caucasians be white, right? Why, right? Because they're not white. You take a white paper, it's not the same color as, a Caucasian person. Of course, I am, married to a Caucasian man. I've been with Caucasian people, like love-wise, relationship-wise. So I am accustomed to, these types of debates because I am not afraid to voice it out. I am not afraid as well to voice out, for Kokoya people and also to defend everybody else who needs to be defended. But I just disagree with this whole black identification. We are Kokoya people. We need to take it out of our mind system. Why is that? Let me explain to you in an astrological point of view. Let's get deeper, guys. And of course, this is the right video to do it because I'm talking about political figures in any way, so I can be a bit political as well, right? But astrologically, we should not accept being associated with darkness. Why? I mean, with being black people. Why? Black is the color of certain. Certain is slow moving. Certain takes time to achieve progress. That is why, people who are termed as black, Kokoya people who are termed as black, they've been stagnant in the economic growth. They've been stagnant in everything else in life and not being recognized and being rejected by the kings, the sun, right? Because that's certain and sun, they have the rejection type of story. If you read the theories of the planets, then you would know that anytime when there's a conjunction of certain, okay, I'm telling you now a secret, but anytime when there's a conjunction of Saturn and Sun, there will be a rejection. That some partner will feel rejected by their partner one way or the other. It might be because they think you don't fit in their class, they think you don't fit their image, you don't suit their surroundings. There would be a rejection. Therefore, it is my request or my political stance that these people who are said who are black people, well, I say I'm Kokoya, okay? I say I'm not black, I'm Kokoya, because I understand astrologically where this is coming from. And remember, politics are coming from the knowledges of they base on the theories of astrology itself, because if you do your research, then you will know where astrology really comes from. It comes from, Babylon, the Mesopotamia, cities, and they changed the whole story and they hid the whole truth, right? But of course this is political, and it's fitting, as I said, political. I'm talking about political figures. But in any case, so the people who started, the political agenda, they understood what they were doing. These are smart people. They had the knowledge. They had all the access to the original books, to the original stories. So it was easy then to attach, the blackness to the people of Kokoya, because they knew if you attach an identification to someone, it will stick with them, and their image and their progression in life will be around that identification of certain, right? Certain is so slow moving. Yes, certain is just, this is why a whole lot of black people, in quotations, a whole lot of black people, they forgive easily. They want to be just, they want to do just things, like justice system, all about that. Why? Because certain is just, right? Certain is patient, all of that, blah blah blah, right? Okay. So why then would the Caucasians choose white to label themselves? Hello, my Caucasians, love lovers. I love Caucasians. I have children with Caucasian men, so this is not a racist thing or whatever. It's just a political, astrological explanation. Why did they choose white? Because white is associated with what? With Venus. Venus and Moon. These are planets that bring money. These are planets of wealth. These are planets of luxury. These are planets of quality. So when you associate yourself with something, you become that something. So when the Caucasians who had access to the original knowledges about astrology, about the world, about how the world started and all of that, right? Our history, they knew what they were doing. Venus is white. The color of Venus is white. That's money. That's why most Caucasians are rich or are wealthy or have access to money or can access money so easily. It is because they identify themselves with success, with money, with the flow of everything good, right? So when I look at my skin, I don't see a blackness. I am not black. I see that I'm Kokoya. If I take Kokoya, the original Kokoya, the raw Kokoya, that is my color. So again, anyway, for the purposes of this video, I digress. For the purposes of this video, I will continue to use the black identification, because that's what is acceptable. That's what people like. Even the Kokoya people, they themselves, they call them black. They themselves black. They like to be black. So of course we have to appreciate people as they want to be appreciated. We have to associate people as they want to be associated. We have to identify people as they want to be identified. If you identify yourself as black, okay, that's good for you. You associated with certain, that's good for you. But now that we know, when you know, you do better. So now that you know from an astrological point of view what these identifications are doing, maybe you can, rethink, right? I did start it's not a movement, but it's something to say I am not black, I am Kokoya, because I want us to be recognized for who we are, for who we really are. Because immediately when we do that, then we shed off some things that are not supposed to be associated with us. First of all, blackness is associated with impurity. When you are impure, then you don't you get accepted, you get rejected because you are impure. So that is what this is associated with. So if you want that, okay, good, because that's what you want, right? Anyway, I digress. Let's get into the dynamics of Mr. Barack Obama and Mrs. Michelle Obama. So going back to the point that started my whole sermon today, my whole ceremony of preaching. Okay, anyway, politics. So I like the idea that they gave, regarding to black people, quotations, right, to Kikuyu people, that they can also be a loving couple, that they can have, a nuclear family, a normal family, because, there's this whole stance that black people are just single mother-led households, right? So they came in and they shook things around. They said, no, we as black people, Kokoya, we can also have, nuclear families, a mom and dad and kids, okay? It's not all about being a single mom, a single dad, whatever, right? No particular. Bam. So that's what triggered this whole explanation, but sorry about that. I just got politically taken. Anyway, let's get into the synastry. Oh, and by the way, I should say that I love government people. Literally, I love presidents. I respect authority. I love authority because I don't have any other choice. My son is so strong. I cannot, defy governments because of my son, due to my son. So I really have like a liking of government bodies. I just like the whole governing scenario, and it is obviously due to my own personal chart, right? With that said, everything here that I've said from the beginning until the end of the video is alleged, literally alleged, okay? Nothing is like proven. Everything is alleged, and this is astrology, and anything that will relate to any conspiracy theories, because these are very public people who are surrounded by conspiracy theories and all of that. So anything that relates to that, this is just astrology, alleged, just that, right? Nothing deep, nothing whatever, right? Anyway. Now that I've said all the disclaimers, you can check my website to book your session. I do accurate predictions. I predict the past, the present, the future, and I also tell you when things would happen. So go to my website, book a session today. Now, do you guys remember when Michelle Obama said that she made Barack Obama? She was not lying. When I'm looking at their synastry, she really helped him be the president that he was, and the leader that he is, and the person that he's known to be in our society. Why is that? Why is that? What? Because her son, certain Mars, they all go to his ascendant. And remember, Barack Obama is a Capricorn ascendant, right? Capricorn authority, and he's got his own Saturn and Jupiter on his ascendant. Now you add Michelle's son, what? Government, right? Fame, right? Authority, right? All of that kingdom, right? You add her son as well. Her Saturn as well. They've got a conjunction of Saturn, right? Because these things are nice like that. Right? and they have, you know, the and then she's got her Mars on his ascendant. What does that mean? Her Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Mars is exalted, and now it goes to the ascendant to make also his ascendant be exalted through her Mars, through her force, through her action, through her, you know, spirit, through her eagerness, all of that, through her courage, through her self-effort. But remember, because they both have their Saturns in Capricorn, it means that they worked so hard to be where they are. Okay, they didn't, you know, accept an easy road. No, Saturn works. Saturn is a working machine, so they worked to be where they are, and through her force, her spirit, and you know, his Jupiter also really helped, because Jupiter comes with wisdom. Jupiter comes with, you know, also the force, because remember, Jupiter can be both ways. Jupiter can be a fierce fighter or can be a fierce preacher, right? So they really put the work, and then now bring in her sun here, making him, you know, be bright and brighter and brighter and to the brightest, right? Whoa. So, like, for an example, lots of Capricorns, like I said in the other videos in the past, they are beautiful people. Like the man, Capricorn men are so beautiful. So you can't like conclude that a person is a Capricorn, so maybe they're rough looking. No. Immediately when you think a Capricorn ascendant, you must think beauty, because Saturn does that when it's in the Capricorn ascendant, right? It's a different story when we're talking about an Aquarius ascendant, but you know, because an Aquarius ascendant is accompanied by the Rahu effect, so it becomes a bit, you know, raw, a bit different. But when it comes to Capricorn ascendant, these people are beautiful people, right? And because, you know, I'm certain in terms of Capricorn, you know, it can sway either way when it comes to gender. So we do find a lot of Capricorns who are males who become homosexuals, or who have interest in other men and stuff like that. This is very normal, very normal. All the knowledgeable astrologers, they know about Capricorns, right? But of course, Mr. Barack Obama, you know, is married to a woman, so you know, in his case, then this does not apply, right? You know, but in most cases this would apply, whereby, you know, there's some gender related rumor or gender related accusation, particularly when certain the Lord of the Ascendant is in the 8th house, for example, or else is also in on the ascendant, or else is in the 6th house and the 12th house. So when the Lord of the Ascendant certain goes to these houses, we do find some fluidity in the gender role. But of course, he's married to Mrs. Obama, Michelle, and they have a nuclear family, mother, father, and children, right? But I just wanted to show you guys that never think that a Capricorn ascendant ruled by Saturn is going to be given ugly person, but in less attractive people. Now, when it comes to their children, I do see, of course, they have two beautiful daughters, right? Malika and Sasha. And, you know, from their synastry, I can tell that Barack Obama is probably the one who really wanted to have the children, or the idea, or maybe the need to start having kids or to start planning towards children would have came from him, because he's got Moon in his 5th house of children. Moon is a nurturing factor. Moon wants to nurture whichever place that it sits in, and for him it's in the 5th house. So definitely, you know, that feeling of wanting to nurture, wanting to, just vibe with the motherhood, in his case the parenthood section, right? But when I look at Michelle's fifth house situation, there's a conjunction of both of their Neptunes. When this happens, unfortunately, it indicates that there's some story regarding to the kids, some losses or children that are not seen, with some people. And I do see in some people, when they have an option like this, expecting their fifth house, maybe they have a child and they don't know about the child, or maybe they adopt a child, so they are linked to a child, but it's not really their child. Okay. And when it comes to Michelle Obama's case, she did write in her book that she lost her own children, like she had miscarriages, and as a result they opted for the IVF option to have kids. So that is definitely clear with their Neptunes conjunct in the fifth house, right? And now when I went deeper now in terms of their ascendant, I do see that he's got his Venus overlaying on her ascendant, which is conjunct with Rahu. Now the thing is, because she's got Rahu on her ascendant, right? And with the Rahu factor makes her, what I've noticed, these are the experiences of seeing, dealing with different charts, as well as obviously I would like to link them to public figures, because then we can have a common understanding. Every person that I've seen, okay, not every person, of course, it always depends on their aspects, on the other planets, on the degrees, on the ascendant, all of that, right? But most of the people with the Rahu on the ascendant, they usually get blamed. They usually get accused of something in the society. They usually attract hatred from enemies, people who just turn against them, people who just accuse them of things, people who just say the most ridiculous things about them, right? And Michelle Obama, of course, she's not an exception. She's been through the most when it comes to being accused of, oh my gosh, of a lot of stuff, right? She's been ridiculed online. She's been just, treated so harshly by the public, right? It is because of the Rahu. I have seen this so many times. And another person who's got the same thing is actually Meghan Markle. And of course, we do know she's also had her share of, being accused, being blamed, being ridiculed, being just thrown into the pits of hell. And Michelle Obama's got the same problem. But because that is Barack Obama's Venus is conjunct with her ascendant, there's also some, obviously attraction that goes towards her, some love that goes towards her, particularly from females and from women, right? Because Venus represents women. So Michelle has got a lot of support from women figures, from female figures that are supporting her, that are appreciating her, that are giving her, power and seeing the beauty in her. And that is all coming from Barack Obama's Venus that is overlaying on her ascendant. Of course, I also do see quite some benefits when it comes to their synastry. Like, for example, her Rahu, it goes to his sixth house, right? Meaning that she helped him, or she keeps continuing to help him fight against enemies, win battles that maybe we don't even know about, protect him, do all of this. So really, Michelle Obama is like the strength, to Barack Obama's life, to Barack Obama's fights against enemies, against litigations, against things like this, and he gets to win thanks to her Rahu. And remember again, she's got that Mars there on his overlaying on his ascendant, which also gives him more strength to win, to fight, to have courage, to go for it, right? Thanks to her planets, right? But because Mars is in Capricorn here, which is not really welcome, really, because Mars and Saturn, with the relationship, it's not always good. Then it means that sometimes maybe Michelle Obama is a bit harsh towards Barack Obama, and in some cases with some people, this is not always the case for them, but with some people I've seen that with this Mars overlaying on the ascendant, the Mars person could hit the ascended person, like little physically harming them or physically pushing them or slapping them, right? But of course Michelle Obama, maybe she's not doing this, right? But I've seen it in general. So, and with her Sun on his ascendant, the Sun is also not really welcomed, because Sun and Saturn can have that I said the rejection type of a vibe, right? And we do know that we've seen Barack Obama being rejected by the American people when they said, oh no, he was not born in America, he was born, I don't know, in Nigeria or something like this, right? And they were refusing to accept him as their president, right? Like they were rejecting him. And of course, why? Because Sun is conjunct with his Saturn. I told you guys when it just started that every time when you see this conjunction, just know this. You've heard this from the first time here, but just know there will be a rejection of one person due to their partner's comedian planet, right? Of course, she's got her Venus and her moon Chiron as well in his second house. Of course, we can see here she did not only help him build his image, his status, he's also obviously gotten into where he is, because she also helped him build his finances, his family structure, as well as some wealth and values, right? Because Venus and Moon here, they are happy to be here, they love this house. And because of the Chiron, it also means that there's some sort of wounding that was felt within the family structure, and which she could have been the like a contributing force towards either healing or towards realizing the wound that is within the family structure, right? So that is there. I mean, she's got her Ketu Mercury in his 12th house, right? Meaning that of course, I mean, being in the government positions, there are things that are spoken in secret. Like most things are spoken in secret, because of the Mercury there being in the in the second in the 12th house. And there are things that could embarrass them if they were to be known, but they are obviously closely hidden. Like she's helping him hide things that could be embarrassing, because Ketu in the 12th house does do that. It takes away the enemies that you don't even know about, right? You don't even know about. It will just remove them from you, okay? Whereas the Rahu there is busy fighting literally with all the other enemies in the physical form. So basically she's having a very good influence in his life, right? Now when we look at basic synastry in terms of not overlays, but in terms of like the standard planetary alignments. He's got his Venus, conjunct with her Rahu, just like I said. This, it obviously makes people be able to gain lots of money, but at the same time, in doing that, as I said, there would be some accusations, some blames, some embarrassments, stuff like this, right, that come with it, right? But it also means that, I hate to say it, but it also means that sometimes there could be accusations of having a third party in the relationship, or something like a relationship that's not usual, like a relationship that's not the norm, because of the Rahu effect, right? Now, looking closer to their other planets, he's got his Mars and Rahu with her Pluto. This one here, it means these guys have the deepest secrets connect through, okay? And because of these secrets and these things, right, that they're facing, there's a bunch of sessions of transformations whereby Michelle is being transformed throughout and throughout, because Pluto is a deep transformation. So when it's with Mars, a transformation it happens so swiftly, so quickly, and it's required with courage. Like, you need some courage. So Barack Obama is giving her the courage to go through these transformations that she has to go through, that she has to form in her life, right? And to face the deepest of the deepest challenges in her life, right? So with his Mars, gives that strength to fight, and with the Rahu gives that added magic, that added strength to this whole debacle of her facing these things, right? Of course, I said they've got this Saturns conjunct together. Of course, it shows that they work together, because Saturn with Saturn, you work together. This is work profession. They have the same profession. They were lawyers and they went into politics together, that we know about. Authoritative role that we know about. And of course, with his Jupiter there in this whole thing, and Sun and Mars, of course, these are the things that we know about. And as I said, when it comes to the relationship, it helps. They help each other, strengthen each other, push forward together, and which is a great thing. And he's got his Chiron with Ketu conjunct with her Venus, Moon, and Chiron, right? And when it comes to this, it's telling me that through her journey, or it's confirming, because she already said it, through her journey of mothering Moon, right? So Chiron and Moon, there's some hurting, there's some wounding, there's something that has been painful through her mothering, and of course for her it was, as she said, the miscarriages, as well as not only that, but having to go through the IVF, like she said. But on top of that, because now this is where it gets interesting, because his Chiron is with Ketu, and anytime when you see Ketu, there will be some embarrassment, relating to that, or where the North Node is, but that axis will give that. And with her, there's been, of course, the accusations of her not being like the kids not being theirs, or something like this, right? Which brings in that embarrassment through the Ketu. But of course, it also comes with Chiron. It is the wounding that also at the same time gets to be healed, all right? So it also goes, or extends to her relationship in terms of how she loves, how she's loved, how she feels loved. Again, that Ketu and Chiron planets being here. So we see that quite a lot. Now looking at the progressions, because this is the interesting part. I do see that. So I'm just gonna look. Where can I start? Maybe I should start in 2023. So in 2023, which have been last year, or around the age of him being 62. So at this time, his progressing Venus got conjunct with his own Rahu, Mars, and Uranus, right? And with all of this, it was also with her Pluto again and Uranus. So what does it mean? It means that, at this time last year, he could have been dealing with a whole lot of well, you can't say scandals really, but for the lack of words, I would say scandalous something, right, which required some sort of courage from his end, to push through his relationship. And at the same time, her transformation again was triggered with her deep transformation, which is through Pluto, right, facing things in secret, dealing with a whole lot of struggles that are requiring some changes to be made, and so swiftly, because the Uranus is there, right? And looking at her own side, I can see that she had her progressing Venus conjunct with her own Venus and Moon Chiron as well, right? So at this time, she was feeling very close to her kids, giving the best to her children, being motherly, nurturing, but also nurturing the husband, which is here, Mr. Barack Obama, giving him some love or healing some wounds that could have been from the past or from other people, or her herself healing her own wounds that would have been experienced in the relationship, maybe in the past, or stuff like that, right? Because of the Chiron that is also in the situation, right? But at the same time, there is his Ketu here with his Chiron as well. Again, are solidifying that there was some wounding that was being healed by this progressing Venus, trying to amend things. And at the same time, though, of course, maybe there was one day where they just were not agreeing, and maybe giving each other attitude, or just not seeing eye to eye. It could be 1 day, 2 days, a month, whatever couples go through nowadays in relationships, right? Because of the Ketu. And of course, we did not have any news saying, oh, they're getting a divorce or whatever, right? So, but then with this Venus getting conjunct with Ketu, there is a separation. Could be for a day. I don't want to see you. Don't call me. I'm just going to the hotel. I'm not going to see you, whatever, right? Or, I'm busy. I'm focusing on the kids. Mothering, so we don't see each other. There's a distance. You are over there and I'm over here in this particular side of the city, whereas you on the other side of the city or other side of the world all together, right? But something like that. And then as of this year, progressing Venus from his side is now with her Jupiter. Again, progressing Venus and progressing Jupiter, there is some sort of distance. Of course, in their case, they were working. They are really working. They're all over the place. So, of course, she could be working on a book, on her other book, on a second book or something like that, or teaching. She could also be teaching people, motivating people because of the Jupiter aspect, meaning that now she doesn't get to see Barack Obama so often this year. She didn't get to see him so often because she's busy, being around, motivating people, meeting different people, leading, sharing wisdom, all of that, right? That is visible for this year, but of course I don't know. I wouldn't know if they have been separated because of her own endeavors in trying to uplift the community, right? But that's what it's visible here. I also do see that her own progressing Venus is also at the same time with her Jupiter, meaning that they are progressing Venuses are at this time conjunct, right, which is a beautiful thing. So I don't see, if both Venuses are together, right, of course they are agreeing about how the love should go and all of that, but the distance is there, definitely separation, like distance because of her own endeavors through her Jupiter. So maybe I'm guessing, I'm really taking a wild guess, saying maybe she's going around motivating people, or she was going around canvassing for people to vote and all of that, right? But doing the Jupiterian work. So next year, what's happening next year? Yeah, because you don't hear oh, they separated, oh, they're fighting, or you don't hear these things, right? So I'm looking at the positive things that could have had them have some sort of separation. So the most ideal thing or logical thing that I can think of in terms of this, because I don't think of them as being outside like that. I'm just thinking of her canvassing, getting people to vote, doing her job, motivating, all of that, right? So 2025, what's happening there? I do see that his progressing Venus will be now conjuncting with their Neptunes at this time. Again, Neptune, it makes it makes something unclear in the relationship. So maybe they continue to not see each other so much, and maybe they continue to, like, she continues to focus on the children, or if it's not her children, then it's other children, like other people. Maybe she's got schools, I don't know, I've never googled. Maybe she's got schools, or maybe she's got some kids that she's catering to, and because of that they don't see each other again, because she has to tend to this. And again, there's some some sort of unclarity when it comes to their dating. Maybe they used to go out on dates 10 times, let's say, per month, and now they only go out one time, or they don't even have time to go out, busy lives, right? But at the same time, I do see that this is opposing his fortune. So so whatever is happening, it's costing him some money. Like he has to pay he has to pay for all of this is happening. So there's some money that is coming out of this pocket. I mean, all the wives, right, when they go out, they don't want to use their money. They want to use the money of their husband. So of course that's how maybe he could be like losing his money because of this, right? And then I do see that her progressing Venus it will be directly with his
fortune. Again, showing some money coming out of his pocket into her bag. So the money is coming into her bag out of his pocket. So I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what's going on, but Mr. Obama has to pay. Has to pay for it. It's so weird, right? Because she's got her own money. This is a working woman, so don't play, right? Don't take Michelle Obama as somebody who's needing Barack Obama to that extent. No, she's got a bag. She's got a huge bag. She had the best-selling book. Like, she made lots of money, so she's got her money. But knowing women, it doesn't matter how much your husband makes, you still want them to pay some things, right? Which is in that context, right? And it's also going to be with their Neptune. So again, there's some sort of unclarity happening here. Something is not clear. So I'm taking obviously the positive outlook. I'm saying this because she's got too much work. They don't see each other a lot. Otherwise, this was a requested video, a requested analysis, and it is here now. I'll chat to you soon. Thank you so much. A bientôt. Ciao.